Yeah, do you know this cow?
That's the favourite of a lot of the staff.
Is that right? So this is would she get a name?
Yeah, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh wow, that's a rough tongue.
Aye, what do you term as an upper class bird?
A heron.
Well, one that I went to Wellington.
No
vulgarness here. What
You
kind
got
of
a 2-finger Kit Kat.
Mm-hmm.
How do you eat it? Do you break the fingers?
Always.
I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are both
Fed by farmers.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
This week we have something different to show you guys. This is definitely going to be one for the YouTube, is that fair to say?
100%.
Yeah.
I did try and listen to it in audio, but it's definitely better on YouTube.
Yeah, so we took the podcast out into the field, not quite into the field, into the cubicle shed. Mm-hmm. This week we are interviewing Kevin Lawrie, who is a dairy farmer from Meyermill Farm down by, I was going to say it's Girvan, but it's not as far as that. It's near Maybole, it would come under. And he milks 300 Ayrshire and Holstein cattle down there, 3 times a day milking. Load. I don't want to give all the interesting stuff away that we do, but this is a really interesting one. This one's especially for you, Tom. He's always saying we should have more dairy farmers on, so yeah. So this is just to keep Tom Pemberton happy.
Though you should maybe also say sound quality isn't great.
Yeah, so we tried the wireless mics. I didn't quite have them set up perfect. I think it's okay, actually.
Mm-hmm. I think mine's... I don't think... Because Ashley didn't have my recording.
No. So Iona's... She's had to turn our mics up when Iona speaks to cover it all. Thankfully, you don't speak too much, so it's all good. Kevin speaks loads, actually. He's fantastic at it.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's really, really good. So, yeah, it's not perfect. We're learning. But I think as a spectacle on YouTube, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great way of highlighting how happy dairy cows are, how inquisitive they are, how, you have to really look after your dairy cow if you want to produce milk. Other bit of housekeeping we have to do, got to thank our sponsors, which are...
Crystalyx and Animax Tracesure.
Crystalyx and Animax. As always, guys, if you're out this time of year, my ewes and lambs are still running with Crystalyx. So now's the time of year you're going to be thinking about things like whether you give them a bolus. Bolus and little lambs is hard bloody work, though. You can give them, there is injections, you can give them for their minerals, there's liquid drenches you can give them. For me right now, I still have the ewes and lambs running with Crystalyx, extra high energy. And the interesting thing is, it's probably quite obvious to many people, but some people might not know this. Pre-lambing, the ewes are, they're working away steady through the blocks. Post-lambing, now the spring grass is coming, and now they've lambed, they hardly touch them. And it's mostly the lambs I see over at the buckets.
And do the lambs lick it?
Oh, of course, it's sweet, isn't it? It's tasty. Lambs are inquisitive too, so you'll see them quite often huddled round the bucket, but they now last ages because the ewes aren't hamming them. The ewes don't have the same nutritional need now that have lambed. So actually, a Crystalyx bucket will last a long time, just topping up the little lambs with their essential minerals.
Just a wee question on that. Do they lick it or do they nibble it?
They lick it.
Right.
Because it's so hard.
Yeah, okay.
This is the thing, like, as I always say, with the Crystalyx buckets, as they're using them, you look at them, they're smooth. Your softer ones, you'll see the teeth marks.
Right, okay.
So that's the difference. And of course, Tracesure, bolus, and well, some people do summer bolus. It's getting more and more popular actually, summer bolus in the ewes, because it's like, well, they need it in the winter. Yeah, they have a high burden, the grass isn't as good, and they've got the lambs in them growing. But if you're cobalt deficient in the winter, you're cobalt deficient in the summer on your ground. So there is always that option too. Thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast. Wouldn't happen without them. The other bit of show. Oh yeah, we've got. Oh, come on in. It's all right. We're podcasting. No, it's okay. Well, we thought we'd better get our bits out the way first. That's Ashley, our editor, coming in the door there. We're getting an early start this morning. The other bit of housekeeping is, of course, the Fed by Farmers clothing range. If you would like to support the podcast, check it out. What's the website, Iona?
Fedbyfarmers.com.
No,
.co.uk.
Yeah, I wonder why we didn't.
That's bad.
.com. I think most UK businesses go .co.uk.
I wonder why.
Probably because it's a UK domain. Fedbyfarmers.co.uk if you'd like to support it, or if you're near a Cars Billington store, thanks to Cars Billington, they now stock all the Fed by Farmers range and a couple of items that are specially for Cars Billington, some fleeces, etc., that aren't even on the website. They're Cars Billington exclusives, so check them out there. I think that's enough housekeeping.
Yep.
We go on and see these dairy cows.
Let's do it.
Let's go. The things we do for content, I tell you. Okay, so we'll have done a nice introduction. And here we are. trying something new. We are joined by Kevin Lawrie. This one's getting up my camera thing over already. In his dairy. Wait, we'll just stop this. This is ambitious, folks. This is ambitious. We're going to try and do a podcast here with Kev, surrounded by his cattle, and cattle are inquisitive beasts. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say, yes.
Yeah. Tell us a bit, where are we just now, Kev?
We're at Marmel Farm. Here at milk 290, 300. Heady hosting the Ayrshire cows on a 3 times a day basis.
She'll get bored eventually. 3 times a day?
Yeah, 3 times a day.
That is the interesting one, I suppose. Is that very common?
It's maybe becoming more common practice now. We're just trying to push yields, make ourselves more efficient.
And is it better for the cow?
It's better for the cow. The cow, from a welfare point of view, there's not as much pressure on the cows either. The cow's getting milked 3 times a day. Health-wise, it's better for the cow as well because you're cleaning the cow out every.
Do you get less mastitis?
Far less mastitis. Cell counts have dropped down since we went on to it, and pretty happy with it.
Well, when did you move on to doing it 3 times?
So that'll be us 3 years come on the 1st of March.
Right.
3 years we've been at it, so it's different.
Well paying off?
It's paying off, yeah. Just slightly earlier start. So we start. The first shift starts at 3 in the morning.
3?
The second milking's 11, and the third milking's at 7 at night.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wild. But you have your dairyman as such does morning and afternoon,
Yeah.
and then somebody else does evening.
Yeah, so we've got a team of night milkers who do the evening milkings, and myself, my full-time staff, we stick to doing mornings and lunchtimes.
I mean, see, for a lot of people, one of your big issues will be staff in
Yep.
dairy. Are you lucky here because you're quite central?
Yes, aye. We've actually, in the last few years, embarked on the Baron. They do a really good apprenticeship scheme. So they do like 3 weeks on farm, 1 week off farm. So I've got two apprentices, one who's just finished his first year and another girl who's just still be starting first year come August.
Right, okay.
So
you have a constant rotation coming through.
So
and
try and do that.
it'll suit great for the barony as well because
Yeah.
some setup here.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
I mean, that's part of the reason we're here and we're sitting here doing this because, I mean, I've filmed here with Landward before and, well, I think you do farm visits quite a lot, don't you?
we do quite a lot because we're a Nestle milk contract. We do a lot of school visits.
And the, wait, I'll put my hood up so this cow doesn't. Is Nestle a good contract to be on?
And Nestle has a good contract to be on. So we paid a premium for our milk going to Nestle, but we also have to do certain things for Nestle to get that premium. A lot of it's now carbon based, grazing cows, just kind of doing what's good for the environment.
Yeah, it's class. She loves me. She absolutely loves me. And do you feel like you know most of your cows?
I know most of them.
Yeah, do you know this cow?
That's the favourite of a lot of the staff.
Oh, is that right? So this is
Yep.
this is what's that? Would she get a name?
Yeah, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh wow, that's a rough tongue. Please, lass, don't steam that up. So okay, but our ear tag number is 840.
I can tell you her name now if you want.
Well, wait, don't drop your phone down the slats. We're terrified. We've got the phones hooked up. Guys, if you're listening to this in audio, by the way, you're missing out because YouTube is the place to watch this because it's carnage here. There's cows knocking things over. And
She's called Lillian.
Lillian.
Yeah.
So do they all have names?
They've all got, every cow in the shed's got a name. You can see them on there, so most of them get tags with their names on them. So that's
there's
Pale Pansy and
Pale Pansy.
Crushy Bull Molly.
So who names them?
So we name them. So the first bit, the Hale bit, for instance, that's named after the father. So it was off a bull called Brideside Hale.
Okay.
And the second part's the family name, so she's from the Pansy family. So there'll be 30 or 40 pansies in the shed, but they've all got
I was going to
different.
say, I can see there's 2 different pansies
Yeah,
here.
aye. So that's how
And
they
what
work.
were you looking at on your phone there?
So we use an app called Uniform that manages, pulls all our information together.
Right.
So we've got all our young stock on Uniform, our Keenan wagon links to Uniform, our foot trimmers Crush links to Uniform.
Yeah.
And so it saves me, if I've got the foot trimmer in trimming cows, it saves me having to go to the computer and put in what was wrong with that cow. His app, when he downloads it, puts it onto the computer, then I've got a lifetime, so I know exactly how much money it's cost me from birth till whenever that cow leaves farm, because I'm putting all my injections, my foot trimmings, all my feeding into Uniform.
And what would you say the average cost is that you put into a cow from birth?
Well, now there's a question. It can range. You've got cows there that you get absolutely no problems with, and you never have any bother, and you've cows you'll have the vet at 2 or 3 times in its
What about
its
if
lifetime.
it was just feed?
So to feed a cow, our feed is costing us about 12 pence per litre at the moment to feed.
That's before any staff or anything?
That's concentrate.
Yeah.
Our staffing costs us about 3 pence per litre of milk.
Oh, you've got it all figured out?
What
are your costs of production
work it out.
right now?
Cost of production on this farm right now, we reckon we're sitting about 28 to 29 pence per litre.
That's good.
And how many litres are you producing a day?
So each cow is averaging 38 litres of milk per day. So we're just short of 12,000 litres per cow per day going away from the farm for all the cows.
Yeah. And what's the milk price at just now? Like
milk price
down for a while, but
we're sitting at kind of 35, 36 pence at the moment.
Yep.
So we are. So milk price isn't terrible.
no.
But again, as we've seen in the farm, when you start putting infrastructure, I don't take any infrastructure and borrowing into the kind of cost of production.
Yeah.
Like when you add that to it, then it becomes.
But there's a new shed going up right behind us. There'll be a lot of background noise and stuff on here, even just the birds. We're getting closer to the coast down here.
Get ready for a successful turnout and choose Crystalyx this grazing season. Spring grass is typically fast growing and lush. However, it can contain high levels of potassium, which reduces magnesium availability. Crystalyx Cattle HiMag incorporates multiple magnesium sources and is proven through trials at Glasgow University to help maintain normal blood magnesium levels. With 35% sugar and a unique blend of vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Cattle HiMag supports optimal performance at turnout.
What's the new shed for?
So
Apart from to reduce your tax bill.
we built a new shed there to dump straights in. So part of business is we want to be able to buy our straights and Arctic loads. We get them £5-6 a tonne cheaper when we buy an Arctic rather than a rigid.
Yep.
So we built a new shed there to dump straights of soya, rape, caustic wheat, and any other products that we want to use in the straight shed. So I built a 5-bay straight shed really. And then where the feeding shed was originally, it was an old kind of shed that wasn't really fit for purpose anymore. So we took it down and we built a new shed over it for general storage. So that'll be anything from overflow of calves to straw. If I get a good deal for buying my fert early, that kind of thing. Like so.
Yeah. So by investing in that shed, you can actually bring down your production costs because you can buy things in bigger bulk and store them in the dry.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right. Okay. That's it. And are you mixing all your feed yourself?
Yeah,
You're not buying in a feed ready to go?
No, we're not buying in a feed ready to go.
Is that pretty standard? I thought most dairy farmers buy something ready to go?
Yeah, so it depends how you want to do it really. So whenever you buy something ready to go like a blend, a company will send you the blend, but they bring in the 3 or 4 straights they put into the blend, and then they charge you for mixing, and they charge you for for hauling it back out to your farm. So when you're milking a few cows, I think it's cheaper just to buy in the straights that you need. So we'll buy an Arctic load of, it's what we call like soya rape layered. So it's like 14 tonne of soya and 14 tonne of rape on the bottom of it, layered, and we dump that in the shed, and that'll do roughly 2 months.
Right, okay.
So you've got a wee bit of output at the start, but that's you for, you're not worrying about bringing blend in every 7, 8, 9, 10 days, however much you're feeding.
And how many, you said to me, how many acres do you have here?
So we're farming 340 acres here at Meyer Mill, and we also rent another 160 acres at a farm about 20 minutes from here that we grow a lot of our own cereal, our own straw, and our maize at. Like, so.
Yeah, and that's what we film Landward for, is the fact you do the maize. And part of the thing with the maize that I found interesting, that you add maize into your, it's like a whole crop type thing you do, is it? And that helps with the digestion, is that the idea?
Yeah, so the maize goes through the chopper and gets pitted. It's just the exact same as what whole crop does. We just think it feeds slightly better than what whole crop does.
Yeah.
So that's
and you think that helps the cows be more efficient in digestion?
So basically, what happens is that we think that the maize goes into the rumen of the cow, and it makes it more efficient. So when we're putting a feed like a soy and a rape in it, that feed's getting used better because the rumen functions better because of the maize. So we're getting more milk out of the feed that we put in, and we're getting less byproduct of your methane, etc.
And what's the backstory to this place? Like, how did you get started in farming? Is it a generational thing? Or?
Well, I was when I left school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I went and trained as a teacher to teach PE. Qualified that, did that.
That's what you did, didn't it?
Not PE, right?
Oh, you did proper teaching. It's like PE teacher basically just didn't want to work for a living.
You could say that about the police as well, because you know.
That's true, you've got me there. Yep. But what, decided it wasn't for you?
I decided I was still milking cows and feeding cows and working with cows, and my passion was always kind of cows. So that's when I decided I was coming home. So I came home to Sandover farm with my dad, and mum farmed, and we were there. I was there for 2-3 years, and then we got the chance to rent this place.
Right, okay.
So I took over the tenancy of this when I was 24. So that was 10 years ago. And
So this is just tenanted, this place?
it was just tenanted until 4 years ago. We were fortunate enough, we sold a wee bit of ground for building at one of the other farms, and I was able to use the money to buy a bit of this farm and take the rest out in a nice overdraft for me.
Yeah, but dairy farmers love an overdraft, do they not?
Well, that's
Do any dairy farmers not have an overdraft?
I think any dairy farmer that's want to move forward and want to progress will probably have some sort of overdraft there.
And I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but I'm led to believe the banks they like dairy farmers because you've got a cheque every week.
Your cheque's coming every month at the end of the day, and it's probably, although it's high input, you have a lot of money to spend in parlour, cows, infrastructure. You still have the high output because you've got the milk there to sell, and there's a big difference if you're averaging 28 litres a day to 36 litres a day, and it's just how efficient and how effective you can run the dairy herd and the business.
Well, it is a numbers game, isn't it?
As a numbers game, genetics play a big part, infrastructure plays a big part.
By numbers, sorry, I don't mean quantity of cattle. I mean, obviously, like, you know, this cow's producing this much and costs me this much, and she's this efficient. And I don't mean so much the quantity of cattle, but more the actual percentages and small margins.
I think your dairy farm, we're doing costings every single month, like just to keep an eye on what's happening, how things are working away. Basically, what happened was when we came here, it was like it was more of an old-fashioned steading. So we knocked a few sheds down, built the new kind of dairy complex. Every kind of few years, we've probably been adding on. We've done the young stock shed 3 years ago. We're doing the straight shed now, so we're always adding stuff on and probably just trying to get more efficient in what we do. So we did the 3 times a day milking. We've changed probably how we breed our cows slightly. It's a bit the same as the sheep game and the beef game. I suppose genetics play a huge part in what bulls you use, and play a huge part in what the next generation looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are unusual. You don't see these very often.
What's that?
Ayrshire type.
Yeah.
Why do you go with them? Sell them to me.
Basically, Ayrshire's been in the family for generations. So great grandpa, dad has had Ayrshires, and I've probably come in. They were predominantly pure. They were Ayrshires 100%. I've come into the business and changed that a wee bit. I've invested a wee bit in Holstein genetics. Holstein probably more just for a bit more milk and a bit more fun when it comes to showing them. As far as Ayrshires go over the next few years, I'm planning to keep my better Ayrshire families and probably have a few more Holsteins on the herd and just change the look of the herd a wee bit.
So you think you'll go more black and white?
Probably go more black and white over the next probably 5 to 10 years.
But are people not kind of moving away from the Holstein a little bit?
I think the old-fashioned, this big Holstein cow that's maybe a wee bit on the frail side, folk are definitely moving away from that. They're wanting this more medium-sized cow with a wee bit of strength and a wee bit of width to it. But the difference between Ayrshires and Holsteins now for me is Holstein-wise, there's thousands of bulls to pick from. Ayrshire-wise, we don't have the genetic pool that the Holsteins have got anymore. Like we're using bulls from Canada, America, and our herd. We run quite an extensive embryo program. We've linked up with a herd in Illinois called Lucky Holsteins, and we're putting in their embryos over here. And
So how does that set up work?
it's basically the same as what your kind of sheep job is. They flush the cow out there, they get the eggs, they freeze them, they send them over, we put them in. And then from there, we've actually showed one last year, and we were reserve intermediate champion at Dairy Expo at Carlisle with her, and she's calving again end of May. So she is.
I mean, Ayrshire is the kind of... It's the capital of dairy farming in Scotland, is that fair
No, I
to say?
said that to you, I think, when we were in at Landward, that there's more dairy farms in Ayrshire than, like, population-wise than anywhere in the UK, I think. It's
But am I right in saying that there's more dairy cattle in Dumfries and Galloway? Is that right?
you could be right saying there's more dairy cattle, but I think
Actual small, because we have a lot of smaller farms,
Yeah.
and they have some massive units down there.
Yeah.
And I think the team at Landward actually fact-checked that. Maybe it was to come here. And that's
maybe, I think I said it, and they kind of looked at me as if saying, "No, that'll not be right."
That's maybe it, and then they went and fact-checked it, and then I think
it was
they
right.
text me and says, because they thought maybe it was Dumfries and Galloway.
Yeah.
But they came back and
I think
said...
you're right. I think there is more cows in Dumfries and Galloway, but
more dairy cattle
farms
there.
We're very, very populated. And
of
you
course-
drive along the road, every probably second farm, if you hear to in Kilmarnock will be a dairy farm.
Yeah, and I take it the hoof trimmers in Dumfries and Galloway make a lot more money than the ones in Ayrshire.
They must, aye.
They must do,
They must
because like, all the hoof trimmers I know in Ayrshire, none of them are in Lamborghinis. So I don't know. That's another big saving for you.
No, it's another big saving.
And I mean, you'll like these guys. What are we? They've all wearing things on their legs here. That'll be a question. I take it that tells you.
Yeah, so that's like
the amount of milk, the amount of feed.
We call them the pedometers, or like many Fitbits basically on the cow. It tells us how many steps they're taking a day, where they've been, what's going on with them. When they go into the parlour, it tells us what the predicted milk yield is, how much feeding they have to get, just basically all the history of the cows on its
How
legs.
does it calculate how much feeding they should get?
So the parlour runs a feed to yield. So basically, we feed down the feed fence, which is the silage, the soya, etc., and that's fed roughly to 32 litres. So any cow that's not doing 32 litres doesn't get any feed in the parlour, and then they get so many kilos per 5 litres of milk in the parlour, up to like a 60 litre cow is getting like 10 kilos of cake in the parlour.
Right,
But like a 38 litre cow will only getting 1.5 kilos of cake a day a day in the parlour.
Yeah,
so that 10 kilos is split obviously between the 3 milkings.
Yeah.
So you're getting 3 kilos per milking. For the highest yielding cow in the herd, you're getting 3 kilos per milking, really.
Okay. Of course, yeah. The 3 milking split
3
across.
milking split
And
across.
does it tell you? I think you said last time I was here. Does it tell you when they're bulling?
Yeah, so because it's monitoring their activity, so cows normally when they're bulling, they're they're going about looking for the bull, so it tells us on the computer that the steps are up and probably go and have a look at that cow because they reckon she's in season. Like, so.
That is insane.
Which is really good because when we finish here in a standard night, I'll check the cows 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then there's somebody out here at 2:30, 3 in the morning. But there's a 4 or 5 hour period there we don't see cows.
Yep.
And sometimes these heats, and especially in high yielding cows, because they don't have just as much energy as what maybe a low yielding cow has, the heats maybe only last 2 or 3 hours, so you can miss the ones during the night.
Okay.
So as you come in here in the morning, and 99% of the time, if the computer tells you that it's bulling. Like that.
It's fantastic the way it's moved forward. In regards to lameness, does it tell you lameness? No.
No, but you can get them that will tell you lameness on cows nowadays.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because I went to an input with I'll be fine. For anyone watching on YouTube, like I said you'd be better watching this on YouTube, but you've watched me get up and down so many times to stop the cows eating the cameras, you might think, actually, I wish I'd just listened to it. Just close your eyes and enjoy it. But I went, so to speak, sorry. If I had a pound. This goes back, Kevin said before we started, he loved the tug of war thing we did with Emma. What does tug mean? Anyway, vulgar. But I was saying, I went to an input, it was at Morden, and they were trying to make...
Maybe see what Morden is.
Sorry, Morden's like a animal health and research institute, and they'd done a thing for sheep where it was like tags on sheep, what are we calling these things? Bracelets. Yep. Bracelets on sheep that would tell you when they're lame because they didn't get up as often.
Okay,
and they wouldn't move about as much. So that was how it told you they were lame. Is that the same with the cattle ones?
Yeah, basically.
Just if the cow's not getting up and drinking and eating.
What's a lying time out? But nowadays, there's the newest collar on the market will tell you rumination. So rumination, for folk that don't understand, is how many times the stomach's turning. So when a cow's making a cud ball, see how the cow's like standing chewing at its mouth. When a cow's making a cud ball, it's supposed to cud 55 to 70 cuds per ball, and then it swallows and then brings it back up again.
Hey.
So the collar will tell you whether the stomach's working right. So
That is so cool.
it'll tell you 3 or 4 days probably before a cow gets really sick.
And
this cow's no just 100% because she's not cudding for the 16, 17 hours a day that she's meant to, or etc.
So you would treat her with antibiotics in advance?
You would at least be keeping an eye on her anyway, whether she's maybe got a touch of
Sore foot
mastitis, sore foot, so she's not going to feed trough as much, or there's some sort of reason for it.
And why have you not get that?
Probably cost of it. So you're talking roughly £100 a collar. So for me to implement that across the herd will be 30,000 at the moment, which is probably something we'll look at in the next 2 or 3 years. But we just haven't got.
Oh, you think that's the way forward?
I think so. I think we were talking about staff earlier, and I think the days of the old-fashioned dairymen who would notice a sick cow. But we also have to probably understand that those old-fashioned dairymen were working maybe with 80 to 120 cows, whereas now you've got 300-400 cows in the shed, so it's very, very hard to see every single cow every single day.
Yeah, and to know them all at the back of your hand and the way they act, and that's a very good point as well. You also have to factor in the shift pattern. Obviously, you've got staff on. You know, dairymen used to work some wild hours. Like you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but that all had to be modernised, I would think, to keep staff.
Well, the old-fashioned dairyman again would work probably 80 to 90 hours a week, whereas now they don't want to work any more than 40 to 45. So you're probably 2 people doing the old-fashioned dairyman's job.
Yep.
But the good thing the old-fashioned dairyman was, well, he knew everything. Whereas if these two people don't communicate 100%, then you've got issues.
And how many full-time staff do you have?
So I have got the 2 apprentices and three full-time staff. So I have.
And were they difficult to find?
No, they've been okay. We've got a nice group of staff at the moment, and we've got a good group of staff at the moment. So we have young staff. Our oldest staff member will be me.
Is that right?
34, aye.
There you go.
So we've got the 2 apprentices are just 7. Both of them are 17, learning to drive at the moment. Danny will be 31, 32. Alana's 24, and Sean's 24. So.
I mean, you're quite lovely group of, what is that, seagulls? No, what is that?
No, I think they're just general crows, maybe.
Crows is what it is, exactly, aye.
You know what a flock of crows is called?
It's an unkindness of ravens, a parliament of crows? No, a parliament of...
No, murder.
A murder of crows.
A murder of crows.
That's right, what's a parliament of...
I don't know, but it's given something like an upper class bird.
Is it?
Yeah, parliament.
Yeah, it is.
But then,
like a heron or something?
Aye, what do you term as an upper class bird?
A heron.
Well, one that I went to Wellington. You're an upper class bird. Yeah, oh God, there'll be folks screaming at the TV what a parliament is.
I know.
It's ravens, crows, what's the other kind of thing like that? A parliament of right.
Hawk?
Nah. You don't get a group of hawks or miserable buggers, they like to be themselves. It'll come back to me. But so, what I was going to touch on there was the fact that you're only 34 and you're running this place. That's unusual. You must be one of the youngest folk running a dairy farm of this size.
There'll be 3 or 4 days out there. To be honest, I've been very, very fortunate. We've spoken about this in the past, about how good my father's been to me over the years. He's very much he's 100% there if I've got an issue and I want to ask a question. But he was very good at a young age. I kind of handed him the reins and saying, go and kind of make your own mistakes.
Yeah.
And I remember, not that long after I took over here, I was having a bad day, and my grandpa was still living at the time. And I was talking to my grandpa about it. And he said, "It's fine making one mistake." He said, "Just don't make the same mistake twice."
Yeah, it's so true.
That's
right.
good. And give us a mistake you've made. I think it's always good for folk to hear. You know, they look at this place and it's like, oh, this guy's got it switched on, everything's perfect. But you know, you must have made an ass or something.
It can be anything as simple as when a cow's calving, for instance, about the same as a sheep lambing. Do you pull it or do you not pull it? You need there's a fine line there, and leaving the calf too long, but then not pulling the calf too quickly, you damage the cows. I suppose you've got all that stuff to learn. How to treat different illnesses, when to call the vet, or when actually no, everyone's I know how to treat this. I've seen this before.
But if we talk about the system, that's good general husbandry issues, and everybody makes those mistakes, I would say. But in terms of actual system, there must have been something you've implemented and then said that was a mistake.
I
spent a lot of money, wasted a lot of money trying one thing, and
I wouldn't say we wasted a lot of money. I think we built the main cow shed, which was for 240 cows. We built the extension on the side, which for another 60 cows. We made just slight changes to the extension based on stuff that we realised wasn't just 100% in here. Just we've went from metal cubicles to plastic cubicles. It wasn't a massive mistake having metal cubicles, but from a cow comfort point of view.
By plastic cubicles, you mean the barriers at the side are plastic? Like Easy Fix style?
It's Easy Fix cubicles we put in.
Right, okay. And you think that's been a benefit because less hematomas? Or
just less bashes and bruises on cows, and the cows in the extension seem to be a wee bit more milk than what the cows over here are. And
is that right?
I reckon it's due to the slightly thicker mattress we put in and the slightly better cubicle we put in.
Right, so you in these memory foam mattresses are?
Yeah, so it's a Wilson Agri mat is what we put in.
Yeah, no, it's good to give folk a shout out, so it means you'll get it cheaper next time. So like your Wilson Agri mats, your Easy Fix cubicles, am I right in saying a hematoma, that's when you get like bashes on a bone?
Hematoma is like a kind of, it's like a blood blister really.
On the bone. It is a hematoma, isn't it? Yeah, it's a case of sounding absolutely stupid there. Anyway. So, and you're noticing, it's interesting that you're noticing a difference.
Not that we had a huge amount of bother with it before, but at the end of the day, I feel when you go and spend money and build an extension on or do something different, you have to
try something.
Yeah.
Change 2 or 3 wee things up. There's 2 or 3 wee things that are bothering you. Like,
so why don't you rip these ones out and put plastic in here?
But just price of it at the moment, like, again, you're about another, I don't know what, I can't even remember what Easy Fix cubicles are, but when you start doing it for 260 cubicles, it could be 100, 110 quid a cubicle, you run into a bit of money again, like. So.
Right, well, we'll chop this into a short for Easy Fix. There we go, Kev's put them in his extension and the cows are milking better and he wants to do 260 more, so send them a price.
Big discount.
They'll look after you, and we'll come back and review it. I'll speak to Graham. He's tight with Easy Fix.
Oh, no, he is.
That's the power of advertising again. No, the only reason I know who Easy Fix are, like I say to you, Easy Fix, I only know that because well, 2 things. Graham is at the front of every one of Graham's videos, and Tom Pemberton put them in as well.
That's
so he's Easy Fix cubicles. You'll be a big Tom Pemberton fan.
Yeah, I like what Tom Pemberton gets up to. Like I watch from afar.
Dairy farmers love dairy farming.
I very much like Graham, to be honest, and what he gets up to. Actually, I've got a very good foot trimmer. Hoof and Hide, David Gray does my feet. But I do like buying some Hoof GP merch just to wear whenever he's in, just to kind of wind him up on a Monday morning.
I've got my cow passion hoodie on today.
I normally the Hoof GP like woolly hat in the morning. He just smiles at me when he walks past. Like
no, hey, if you need some done, Davey, give us a shout. We can embroider some up for you. Don't worry. But no, Graham's doing great things. It's great, I suppose, for not so much you because you're getting someone in to do it, but there'll be a lot of dairy farmers still doing their own feet. You know, like I think Tom. I think Tom tackles quite a few himself. I mean, I know he gets a trimmer in for some jobs, but I think he does tackle a few himself. And you learn a lot from Graham's videos.
The issue we've got with trying to trim cows ourselves is between morning milk and a lunchtime milk and a lunchtime milk and a nighttime milk. We've only actually a 5-hour period. So when my hoof trimmer comes in the Monday, every second Monday, he'll trim between 30 and 35 cows. So that's 70 cows a month he's trimming. So if I was to try and fit that into my day-to-day run the farm.
Plus it's another skill your staff need to have, and I know you're maybe not turning over staff like some dairy places, but
unless you're trimming a lot of feet, you don't get really good. You don't get really good at it. And
it's like shearing. You watch a farmer shear his own sheep. It's hard to bloody watch.
Yeah.
But you watch somebody shearing all the time. It's a doddle, and it's a nicer job and nicer for the sheep and the animal.
But I do think that the likes of Tom there and Graham are doing a great job of portraying the agricultural sector, especially dairy farming, in a positive manner, because there is a lot of people out there that want to have a dig and have a go at us for what we do, and
that's where I'd say, like, if anyone watching YouTube, there's a lovely big girl here, I'm just gonna get her to walk past the camera, but like, this is why I wanted to do it in with the cows, this piece, not just because, and I give him a shout out all the time because I'm a big Tom Pemberton fan. I think his videos are class. I think his personality is incredible. I think the way he edits the videos, the pace he keeps it going at, and the way he shows things is great.
Yeah.
And his dad's good value now and again as well. But he's a big fan of the podcast, so he'll be watching. I knew he'd love to see some other cows, some Ayrshire, some proper dairy cows.
Some proper cows.
But it also shows look at these cows. I know. Do you know, folk think dairy and these poor miserable cattle and they're abused and all this, but like dairy cows, and the point I make a lot is that a dairy cow has to be the best looked after animal in all of farming. Because if you don't look after her, you don't make any money.
No.
You know what I mean? And I know we're coming back to money, but the money is like, the welfare is linked. Yeah, the kinder you are, so it pays a dairy farmer to be
Absolutely.
kind to his cattle,
Yeah.
more so than even sheep. Sheep are so bloody easy. All right, we've got all the problems with sore feet, fly strike. Dairy farmers don't think sheep's easy, but when a sheep farmer sees a dairy farmer get up in the morning, we're kind of like, bugger that, milking cows every day. I know you don't need to milk them now, Kev, but that's
I wish.
I know. How many milkings do you do?
Yes, I do every morning, and I try and do most lunch times. I'll do hands up. Do very, very few night milkings.
If you're doing the morning, mate, you'd kill yourself.
Yeah.
So would I, actually.
Some staff would rather do that. I kind of like morning. There's no problems. There's nobody trying to get you on the phone to go and sort something out at another farm. There's no issues. You just literally you're up at 3. You finish for the back of 6, and it's.
And then you've got your family as well.
Well,
so
you got a wee girl and I've got another one on the way, so it's quite nice to get finished up at night.
Yeah.
See them, have a chill out, and then I come back out and do like half an hour just checking cows and making sure everyone's okay before bedtime. I've got a good team of night milkers as well, so it's very rare if I need to do a night milk.
Just come out because you enjoy it and get the crack and just touch base with them.
It's
good for them to see the fearless leader.
Make sure there's no issues for the morning.
I want to make your life. But it has to be a passion.
Yeah.
You have to love these cows.
You wouldn't do it if you didn't have a passion for it. You shouldn't be doing it if you don't have a passion
Absolutely.
for it.
Like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
As much as I think these cows are incredibly bonny and beautiful animals, I very much see the merits of dairy farming in terms of probably. Somebody said a great thing actually. Who was speaking to yesterday? Oh, it was the last week's podcast. This will be out the week after. Duncan McEwen from Anprior was talking about how he'd always loved to be a dairy farmer, and he referred to it as the F1 of farming.
Farming.
And I thought that was a great phrase.
Yeah.
It's like the Formula One. It's like, you think about it, it probably is.
In what way?
One, it's I was going to say most labour intensive, but probably it's the most labour intensive job. You have to be the most onto it in terms of keeping the animals right. They produce the product that is consumed more than any other product. Milk, folk can maybe not buy tonnage. No, I buy tonnage. In fact, I'm going to hang my hat on this, but remember, never believe in here on social media. But milk, there'll be more milk consumed in the world than meat. Absolutely.
Do you know that it's the fastest liquid on Earth?
Is that a joke? Because it's moving.
It's past your eyes before you can even see it.
I love it, Iona. Coming out with the crap jokes, that's my job. Right, we do that. Do you know that milk is the fastest moving?
Sitting there and giggle last night. Milk jokes.
Aye. Horrible. It's like my favourite cow joke ever was In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
Where he just goes, look at that, there's milk coming out of that cow's tits. And in the square one, I can't. Will was udders. And he goes, yeah, look, there's loads of them. Oh, that's one of my favourites. But F1 of farming, I think is fair. Do you not think so?
I think it's probably fair. I wouldn't criticise any other type of farming. I think everyone works hard, but sometimes it's a slog every morning, 3 o'clock.
But you have to be amazing at animal welfare. You have to be pretty good at technology and your equations and working out what works. You have to be good at infrastructure, or certainly getting the right folk in to build you the infrastructure and design it. You have to be good at grassland management.
Yep.
We spoke before this started about silage, and we'll touch on that briefly. You have to be great at that. You have to be bloody good at mixing feed. And probably dealing with the arable side. You grow a lot of corn, maize.
We grow a lot of our own, what we're putting back through the cows, like to try and just cheapen our rations. So
and so you've got to know about looking after soils and keeping that in good health as well. Are these cows ever outside?
These cows all graze, so part of our Nestle contract is we have to graze the cows for 120 days a year for 6 hours a day.
Right, okay.
That's Nestle's pledge. And Nestle actually are very, very bad at telling the general consumer of chocolate that's what the farmers are doing.
Yeah.
But that is what the farmers are doing.
Yeah.
So will your milk be going into chocolate?
Yeah, so our milk goes to Girvan, which is, so Nestle are obsessed with it, like every other company, about food miles. Mm-hmm. So our milk goes to Girvan, which is only 10, 11 miles from here. It gets made out of chocolate crumb, and then that's the chocolate crumb then gets transported all over the world to put the chocolate over the famous Kit Kats, Yorkies, Quality Streets.
Where's the big plant at Girvan, the one at the roadside?
Down the main roundabout at Girvan, take a left and you just follow the road round in there. And
right.
Nestle Girvan's in there.
I did.
Most forages don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth.
When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
For anyone that just in the audio, a cow knocked over the thing and we're on cubicles, we're on slats here. So it's very much a...
Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, once it's gone, Kev has said, we're not getting it back, so...
Are there any other things Nestle put in that you have to do?
Right, so Nestle have been very, very on it with the whole net zero. So Nestle as a global company want to be net zero by 2030.
A big brand like that, that's where there could actually be an impact.
Yeah.
Do you know, like that's it's them that need to be making...
They've been very proactive about it, Iona. So what they've actually done is all their farmers have tested every single acre of ground that they own. So they've took a core of soil out of that acre of ground. They've sent it away to a lab and they've worked out exactly how much carbon the soil is sequentiating and storing.
Right.
So what they do is they take all our inputs, diesel, fertiliser, etc., and they're going to work out if, as a farm, are we net zero? So just say, for instance, I think we'll be very close to being it. And then what they'll do is then they'll say, well, we've got X amount of carbon we need to get rid of, and so we're going to use our farmers.
And they'll pay you a premium on top.
Well,
for that.
we've not just quite got to that discussion yet.
Yeah. Imagine that they've tested every acre.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
That's 120 or 30 farms in the whole of the UK at the moment, and they've tested every acre of ground. So they came here and took 340 odd samples, and I know I've got a number for how much carbon we're sequentiating, and we've also, so that was 3 years ago, and they've also gave us practices which they think will be good for carbon sequentiation and practices which I think will be bad for carbon sequentiation. And they've asked us to note down exactly what we're doing in every single field, so that when we retest in 2 years' time, if we've done X, Y, and Z in a field and the carbon's went up, then they know, well, that's good practice. But if we've done X, Y, and Z and the carbon's went down, well, that's bad practice.
So they're doing your work for you. Because farmers are going to have to be more efficient anyway.
Yeah.
But if you can partner with a big firm like Nestle that's got the money, there's going to be a premium obviously on top, because it's these big companies and there's been a lot of whispers and talk about what's going to happen when they start bringing in these carbon credits. They keep talking about, are we going to get folk like Ryanair, phoning up Kevin and saying, or phoning up John Murray and saying, listen, John, I hear you run a few blackies in the hill.
Yeah.
How many credits you got?
Oh, John Murray will have far more credits than me with all that hill.
Aye, they blackie boys, but they're not needing it.
That's they're going to make some serious money out of this carbon credit.
I think though as well, it's a good thing, because obviously I think like dairy farming's got such a terrible name. Like I don't think that's all.
No.
In general for what they do for the environmental impact. When I see that, and you can actually lay it out. Well, here we're net zero. This is what, and these are the steps we're taking. That's huge.
And I'm hoping from a Nestle point of view that they get slightly better at communicating that and promoting that. Like, see if you knew you've got a dairy milk and a Kit Kat in the shop. If you knew that this dairy milk was cows were grazed, all our farms are net zero, but in the dairy milk you don't know that. So the Kit Kats is net zero, and you're going to pick. Well, if you've got
if that's where you're
consciousness.
Yeah, I don't know if
I think that'll increase, Cammy, over the coming years.
An interesting thing about Kit Kat is it's the most eaten chocolate bar in the UK.
Are you calling it a chocolate bar, not biscuit?
If you put it in the chocolate bar category, it's the most eaten chocolate.
Do you know where the most Kit Kats in the world are bought?
Oh, in the world?
In the world. Where are the most Kit Kats sold on a daily basis?
In the whole world.
In the whole world.
Well, they were in Thailand, so they are all over the world.
You've got me, because I couldn't even guess where they'd have Kit Kat. I'm going to say France, because that's huge.
France.
And it sounds kind of French. We could make it sound French.
Kit Kat.
Make it sound French, Iona.
Kit Kat.
Sounding more American.
I know it did, aye.
No, but I think we need to think more population.
Kit Kat.
Where's the most?
I was Italian. Kit Kat.
You need to think more population. Where's population?
France is it? Oh, right, China.
America.
No, I don't have Kit Kats in China.
Dubai Airport is where they sell the most Kit Kats on a daily basis because of the amount of traffic going through Dubai Airport.
What?
They also have a Kit Kat. Was I in Dubai Airport recently?
I see. Can't even remember who's been.
No, it was Istanbul. It was Istanbul.
I've never been to
Istanbul.
Dubai
Have
Airport.
like a Kit Kat bit,
right?
Which I thought was random.
Yeah, but that's
that's unreal.
Yeah,
And
Dubai Airport.
Yeah,
But then maybe
aye.
because it's a novelty, is it? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, you've just been on a like 12-hour flight from Sydney to Dubai and you're going back to the UK and there's a Kit Kat.
Take a break.
Aye, take a break.
Take a Kit Kat.
Take a break,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and it is the most sold in the UK, I'm right in saying.
As yeah,
Kit Kat.
aye,
Yeah.
that's our number one brand.
The
aye.
forefinger, apparently, not the chunky.
How would you eat a Kit Kat though?
Break.
Break.
What are you talking? What kind of Kit Kat?
So just say
no
you got,
vulgarness here. What kind
you got
of Kit Kat?
2-finger Kit Kat. How do you eat it? Do you break the fingers?
Always. You're not telling me you're straight into a bite.
I do.
Do you?
Are you?
No, I break the fingers.
Yeah.
Do you?
And I break the fingers again and eat them like kind of 4 smaller fingers.
Oh, do you nibble the chocolate off the end?
No, I don't.
No.
Do you?
Yeah.
What?
Especially on the chunky.
What do you mean? What do you mean nibble the chocolate off the end?
Well, you know how the, the ends have got a wee bit of a thicker chocolate? I would like nibble that off before I take a bite.
Right.
And would you eat a chunky then just before you eat a 2-finger then?
I would choose a chunky before a 2-finger.
And
Like
but
if I had the
and what do
choice.
you think of these chunkies that have got like the orange or the
No.
honeycomb
I
fruit?
wouldn't
No,
even tolerate that.
just
No.
a standard.
You know?
No. What nonsense.
Why?
Like, a Kit Kat's a Kit Kat.
They're doing a Kinder Bueno one now as well.
I don't mind a Kinder Bueno actually, but no, I like a Kit. I mean, we have a Kit Kat now and again after dinner. Usually a Kit Kat chunky, I must say.
Right,
But yeah, but you know, if we talk chocolate bars, I like a crunchy as well.
I don't. Crunchy
See, I
would be
really like
awesome
this
with my
twirl. I brought out this orange twirl.
Right,
Oh, I really like I like an orange
Tastes
twirl
like
at
a
the moment.
Terry's chocolate orange.
Tastes like a Terry's chocolate orange.
right. We do
But
have
I
a
wouldn't know
twirl
what-
now and again as well.
Yeah,
but I tell you,
no.
they're not the size they used to be though.
No, they're not.
Like, it's absolutely shocking the size of chocolate. Well, it's good as well, I suppose, but they are like, you know, they keep the price similar, but they drop. Well, their price goes up, but they drop the size all the
I
time.
see on the radio this morning when I was feeding cows, I heard the government have pulled all your big companies in because they want to get a hold of why they're cutting the size of products and increasing, and the prices are staying the same.
Okay.
And I heard that in the news this morning.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because there was an interesting thing one time. It's like they'd done with beans, and it's like the can of beans. It's so easy just to take 5 beans out of every can and drop it from 250 grams to 242 grams.
No,
And the
don't
consumer never notices, but
that's
over
so true.
over 1 million cans
Oh.
made a day, it bumps their profits up massively. So yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, so I think we've covered here. Cows are out 120 days. Nightmare for you because of the 3 milkings though, eh? It's like,
Well, we've got like 6 hours between milking, so it's actually okay. Well, we milk cows in the morning, we put them out to grass, then we bring them back in, and then after lunchtime milking they stay in, just because my night milkers are good and I wouldn't want to give them any extra hassle, so they just bring the cows out the shed like normal.
yep,
Have you thought about robotics?
So we've got a wee robotic scraper that runs about keeping the shed clean. As far as robotic milkers go, we've looked at it and we've thought about it, and we've looked at it again and thought about it again, but we just haven't really done anything about it. Parlour wise, we quite like the parlour.
Okay.
You can milk an extra 20 or 30 cows at busy periods without too much hassle. You see every single cow 3 times a day going through the parlour. You pick up any issues.
From a stocksman side.
From a stocksman side. I get that. I see the pros and cons for them both. Like I do, but I quite like how we're
But it
doing
was like
things at the
speaking
moment.
to Margot about Margot McGill, we had
Yeah.
in Margot Scott talking about what they do there, and Robbie, who you'll know very well, I'm sure. Like they've got robots, but he's in the shed all the time.
Yeah.
And I know he loves doing that, so he doesn't mind. And I'm sure half the time when he tells Margot that that's the robot needs me, that he's just at it. You know, he's actually just want to go and sit in the shed for a minute. But you imagine with this number of cattle, you have 3 times the cattle he's got.
So we'd need 6 robots to run.
You'd never brought it here.
And how much is a robot? You know?
Talking round figures, probably 100,000 a robot. So you're 600,000
Right,
for 6 robots. You get a bit cheaper if you're buying them. You're buying 6, but you've still probably a bit of building work to do about it. So you're probably looking, I would reckon, if I wanted to go and milk completely robotic tomorrow, I'm probably going to have to put in about $750,000 investment to do it.
We haven't actually described, and we'll have videos on YouTube as we're talking about this parlour, but we haven't even talked about the parlour. Folk love, tell us about your parlour, what kind of parlour it is.
So we're milking on like a 15 up each side, so it's a 30-30 GEA rapid exit parlour. So and that's got feeding in the front of it.
Is that unusual for a rapid exit? I only
Rapid
say that
exit-
because you'll have seen the video I did with at Bottoms,
Yep.
with their rapid exit, and they don't
They
feed.
don't feed.
Should we see what a rapid exit is?
Yeah, there'll be a video on YouTube, but better explain it for any audio
Basically,
listeners.
rapid exit is a standard herringbone parlour. all the cows go in the back gate and all the cows exit through the front gate.
Right.
So in this parlour here, the cows come in through the back gate, but the whole front gate opens up and the 15 cows and all leave at once, and you shut the gate down again. So you're kind of saving yourself probably 2 or 3 minutes aside, because you don't have these cows exiting before you get the next cows in.
Right, okay.
And the big thing you'll see with cows is when they exit from the one gate is maybe the third cow along didn't finish her cake or there's a wee bite. So every single cow that passed wants to stop and
Try and eat that cake.
And then you try and get a cow moving when she's got her head in the cake, and it slows. So rapid exits, boom, away.
Yeah.
But are most rapid exits like yours then? I take it the one we saw at Bottoms is a bit. I thought it was weird that they don't feed in the parlour.
No, well,
what's more common?
Rapid exit wise, it's more common not to feed.
Right, okay.
Whereas we made the decision to feed because when we're grazing cows, we want to be able to keep on top of how much concentrate that is going into the cow, so we can top them up in the parlour.
Yeah. Yeah, of course that's a different system down there. The cows don't stay inside. Okay.
I like it. I do like being able to feed as well from we calve all our heifers young, so we're calving 23, 24 months. So you want your heifer still to grow, so we can then say, well, what we do is we set our cows up as we've got a heifer group and a cow group, so the heifers are fed slightly more in the parlour just to keep them growing and keep them maturing.
Yeah.
So we've far more flexibility how to feed cows, I feel, with feeding in the parlour.
Yeah. And another controversial thing, we're getting to our time here, Kevin, I appreciate you giving us as much time, but a controversial thing with dairy farming as well that we should touch on is bull calves.
Bull calves.
What happens? Are you sex semen? Or?
We sex semen and beef, but you still get the occasional bull calf.
Okay.
So Nestle, again, 3-4 years ago, we signed a declaration to say there would be no killing of bull calves.
Yep.
So I've actually just a man along the road there that takes my bull calves and he rears them and sells them with fat stock.
Okay.
I get literally nothing for the calf by the time I tag it and feed it for a few days, but you still feel better putting a bull calf off farm and knowing it's going away to live a life and do its own thing rather than having to destroy it, which is a far better way to work. Yeah,
and it's important to, when I think most milk, I don't think there's a milk contract out now that doesn't have the fact that bull calves have to be reared or finished.
I think they're all on it.
Or sold off farm. Yeah. But it's important for folk as well to note that dairy farmers weren't euthanising these bull calves because they wanted to or to save a workload or anything like that. It was because there was it was a huge cost to the business. It was just so to make the milking, especially during the tough times.
Yeah.
Right, we're in a nicer period just now, long may it continue, but during the tough times, any drain on the business was a disaster.
Yeah.
And that was the reality, and I'm sure it had a toll on. I don't know if you guys ever had to go down that route. Hopefully not. But anybody that did have to go down that route, it has a massive mental toll on you. Like I know it's like if you get a deformed lamb or something like that, you have to euthanise.
No, there's none worse.
I've got to psych myself up before I'm like, poor bugger. It's like right, but it's bloody crippled. What do you do?
Yeah. No, and we did. We had to 10 years ago, and there was nothing worse than having to make that phone call and put the calf out, and it just. It's far better now.
Yeah, everything's nicer.
Everything's tagged and living and goes away, and heifers stay on farm and we reel them and they come back into the milking herd, so it works pretty good for us.
What's the plans for the future then? You're 34 years old.
Yeah, that's my wife Alison. She would say no more cows. I would say no more cows, but in the back of my head, you're probably thinking, right, where can we go next?
When's the next door farm coming up for sale?
I don't know.
Would you buy more land if you got the chance?
Ideally, you'd probably buy a wee bit more land, maybe milk a few more cows, but...
How much is dairy land here? That's a big one because we have a lot of Irish listeners and I think things in Ireland are absolutely wild.
Crazy.
How much is dairy land here? You said you bought this farm, well that was years ago, right enough, or a few years ago. You'll know much is ground about here.
If you want to buy good ground in this part of the country, you're talking between 8,000 and 10,000 an acre.
Okay.
Is where you're going to be at.
Yep.
As you probably go further inland, you're probably down to 5,000 and 6,000 an acre, so.
Yeah. And we are very close. You mentioned earlier, but we are very close to Maybole here.
Yeah.
Which is coming down. Anyone that's ever been to the boat to Ireland, we're just off the A77 here. I mean, you can see it's the old road we can see from here, is it?
We can see the old road,
yeah. Yeah, they have a new bypass in past me.
We lost 5 acre of ground to the new bypass, so we did.
Well, that's an interesting one as well.
Up through the corner of the field. So
but it was long overdue.
It wasn't even done. It made a massive difference.
Yeah, that getting through me, all the lorries, like what a shambles it was. But interesting one for anyone it's maybe a good bit of gossip as well, but what were they paying for taking land? Because it's compulsory purchase.
Oh, just compulsory purchase.
And everybody
so
gets the
you're-
same. So
You're compulsory purchasing at like 5,500-6,000 an acre. Like, so
is that right?
Aye.
I thought you get like a premium because
No,
it's
you don't get a premium in compulsory purchase ground. Like, so.
right.
So
Okay.
it's compulsory purchase because you have no.
You know,
you
you've no.
what to
You
sell.
you can hold off if you're wanting maybe something like that. I know there was a farm on the other side of Maybell. They went right through the middle of the farm, so he was able to hold off because they wanted some underpasses or some bridges put in. But
Yeah.
if they're coming for it, they're coming for it. There's
Yeah.
really not much.
But that's
you can
fair. I mean, you
do
cannot
about it.
you can't put a bypass in half a farm without giving them access to the
No,
other half of the farm.
Absolutely,
So
that's fair.
yeah,
Like so that 5 acre for us, it was just a case of signing the paperwork and
tough. And
away you go. Like it's,
yeah, and you'd all have somebody like Margot or something like that.
Margot fighting your corner.
Aye, and-
Margot does all our work, to be fair.
There you go. To be
Yeah.
fair, every place I've been, they're like, yeah, it's like,
Aye.
oh, we use Margot. So she's obviously doing well. Well, she's switched on.
No,
That's
she's
bloody
switched
good.
on. She's the best. She's one of the best. Like,
So yeah, so you literally don't need to worry with that. If she tells you it has to be done and you just need to sign it, you know
Yeah.
she's right. So yeah, that's interesting. $5,000 for that. And it's just waiting for an opportunity close by.
Yeah, aye, but is it, again, we were talking about price of land, but if you've two men that really want that ground, things can go a bit nuts, to be fair.
Yeah, and we are in dairy country about
Yeah.
here. I take it this is your ground that goes right down onto the Carmichael Road there.
Michael Road, so they're literally, the great thing with Mara Mills is Steddon sits bang in the middle, so we're literally right, fields are right, ring foot fence right round about us, like
It's a miserable wet period we've been in. It's been horrible. Okay, the sheep have been off here. You take sheep winters on, but they go off first week in February.
Week in February, yeah.
Yep, and incredibly powerful grass here. I mean, it looks so bloody green already. I take it your slurry. You get fertiliser on yet?
No fertiliser on yet, but we've got a bit of slurry out, so we have, and that'll be making things green up a wee bit. And really now we're needing to go on with fertiliser. We were fortunate enough, a fortnight ago we got all our winter crop done at the other farm, so it's all had its fertiliser, and we're just kind of waiting now to go on the grasslands.
And this your winter crop. You're talking about like winter barley,
Winter barley and winter wheat.
wheat. Okay, and are you just like urea here, or what do you guys use?
So no, I prefer to use a compound, so I do.
I don't know anything about
Well,
fertiliser.
urea,
what's that?
you get your urea cheap, but you need certain weather conditions and certain temperatures to make urea work effectively, whereas I just prefer putting my compound on and knowing 100% that
And compound's just granular as well.
Yeah,
it's
just-
it's like 20-10-10 type stuff, is it?
20-10-10 or 24-11 or whatever, 27-5-5, whatever you choose to put on, depending on what our soil analysis are.
Yeah.
I've heard too many stories of folk putting urea on early in the weather and the temperature's not been right, and then they're shouting for nitrogen 4 or 5 weeks before they're cutting silage because there's nothing there. So I've always been told by father and grandpa, you don't scrimp and scrape and that kind of thing. You just
Especially dairy farming, because your nutrition is
need,
key.
You need your silage. You need your quality of silage.
And what kind of percentage protein do you have in your silage? The real dairy buffs will like that.
About 18% protein we were last year.
Is that good or bad?
That's pretty good, like, so
Yeah.
quite happy with that. Silage we're taking a fairly early first cut. We're not the earliest, but we want there's too many folk go early and then the silage doesn't stay in the pit because you get slippage because there's not enough fibre in it.
Okay.
So we'll always cut round about, I always say round about air show time, which is 15, 16 for May.
Yep.
And about in between that and the 20th for May, really we try and cut for a first cut. Last year we did 4 cuts.
And urea, 4 cuts, that's another question folk would ask you. And urea, I have 7 tons of urea to go in some lambing parts just to keep everybody happy. And what conditions do we need? I just thought you need to be dry, but would you need
I'm
like
not a
over
urea
10
expert.
degrees?
I think for urea to work well, it needs to be still moist and humid, but you still need a bit of heat. But there'll be folk out there that work with urea more than what I have. I've never
but
really...
like over 10 degrees and fairly dry will be fine, eh?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
15 degrees?
Are you spreading it in your John Deere tractor like you were putting the bales out the other day?
Oh, I'm not spreading it. I've learned my lesson. No, I'm not spreading it. Although I did think about getting one of those wee spreaders for the back of the
bike.
CF motors. Like because then you just do it in your own time and work away quite quietly. I suppose.
Probably somebody will give you it for nothing if you just give them a pun again.
Doesn't work that way. Drop me an email anyway. Just get a spreader. But no, it's fantastic. One other thing I want to touch on, and someone who gave us a shout out the other day is Andrew from Farm Theory over in Northern Ireland. Have you come across him on TikTok yet?
I haven't. I don't do TikTok.
What do you know?
That's to your credit.
Because I lose enough hours in a day on Instagram and Facebook, but,
Yep.
I'm at the point where we're thinking about just doing maybe a wee farm TikTok just to show folk what we're up to.
Do it. They're huge. Like, my whole feed is farm TikToks.
That's Alison's, my wife's desperate to do something like that, just to show what we're up to.
You've
Like,
got young staff, you know, that are in that
they seem to like the TikTok, like, so whether we do something about that going forward or not, I don't know.
But no, I would give him a shout out back, because I am not a dairy farmer, obviously. I enjoy the science behind it and stuff, and I never want to milk cows. Well, I have milked cows, but I don't mind doing the odd milking, but I wouldn't choose it as a career path.
Good to know.
So I always say like dairymen deserve all the money they get, because it's like a bloody hard life. But he is so scientific. Like, I think you'd really enjoy him.
Yeah.
Worth checking out on YouTube. Farm Theory it is, and it's like every bit of silage is analysed. He has maps that show where every tractor's been on the farm.
Yeah.
To monitor compaction, and obviously through the tractor GPS and stuff, but he's like really into all this really geeky data stuff that is actually quite good for dairy farmers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So no, you like that one. So that's me returned the shout out. But listen, we've kept you all enough there, Kev. It's been great. I've got to say, I don't think I really said it enough to say that it's fantastic that your dad has gave you the rope to hang yourself here, so to speak.
You said something in one of your early ones about
twice a boy, once a man.
Twice a boy, once a man, and I think that's a great saying, to be fair.
Yeah.
And dad and folk like father are fortunate when that happens, because none's happened to them, and they've got to hand the farm down and then see the next generation take it on.
And I suppose a better touch before I go, better give him an extra shout out and find out what he's up to. He's a young man.
He's 60.
Aye. 60. So what's he doing?
He's still very hands on. Like, he gives me a hand back and forward. He's very involved in agri, Scott. He does a bit of stuff for Highland Show. He's not
getting into any of these weird hobbies like remote control airplanes or any of that stuff.
Not yet, like, but
Trains.
You never know.
Has he got a train set in the loft?
No, not that I know of.
No. Not that that's a weird topic. I just say shout out to our train enthusiasts.
The electric set or something.
Yeah, I was like, sometimes these kind of, it's like, what am I going to do? Let's try that. I've always wanted to do that.
No, nothing yet, like, so.
Good man.
He enjoys his committees and stuff, and then he's obviously here to give me a hand. He's very good at weekends when the young ones have been in the lash and they don't turn out. He's just a phone call away. So
yeah. If in need, just phone dad. And I think he's about to chin me about something with Agri-Scott, is he?
Yeah, I think that's his plan. He's got to talk to you about
right. We'll go and see him and see what he's got lined up.
Yeah.
Are you happy, Iona? We've covered everything you want to cover.
Great, yeah.
The girls have been amazing. Hopefully this makes for good content. We've just set the cameras up behind us here. God knows what it's been like. Thanks to anybody that's watching and listening. Do leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of this kind of format if you'd like to see more. And thanks very much, Kev. It's been great.
No, thanks for coming. We've enjoyed it.
Cheers, mate.
What did you think of that?
Carnage. At first I was like, I don't think we can use this.
I know, which made me sad.
Yeah, we had a bit of a back and forth about this, because I was like, no, we have to use it because it's so good. And then I was like, I just don't like that the audio's not right, because I think like it spoils a podcast if the audio isn't great. And that's part of the reason why we've invested in this fancy kit and this setup here, to really make it kind of high end and nice to listen to, but apart from my voice all the time. But I think a shout out to Ashley, who you heard coming in at the beginning there. She did a very good job cleaning up the audio and salvaging it. I think next time what we just do is take Ashley with us.
Yeah, 100%.
Then it's her fault.
Yeah, if it goes wrong.
When it's wrong. And with somebody to blame. Because like, if it's my fault, there's nobody really to blame then. Just one of those things. So yeah, thanks to Kev for having us. Fantastic to be open and honest and talk about the dairy and the cost of production, how his system works. We need to get into more dairy farms, because one of the interesting things about dairy is everyone thinks just dairy cows milk the cows twice a day, or 3 times in Kevin's case. But like, there's so many differences in dairying. From the way the contract's structured for like on-farm visits, how many hours and how many days of the year the cows need to be out, whether they're out at all. Some cows are inside all the time, and there's various reasons for that. The breed of the cattle.
Yeah.
Even people milking Jersey cows is another interesting angle as well. So yeah, we'll get onto more dairy farms, I think. It's ambitious with so much work ahead of us. But anyway, it's good. Listen, that's us for this week. I'm going to say about Woolly Weekend actually next week. If anybody's in the local area, I'm going to be doing shearing demonstrations at the Rural Museum. I think it's just
National Museum of Rural Life.
National Museum of Rural Life at East Kilbride. Saturday and Sunday demos starting from 11 on the hour every hour. I think we're doing 11, 12, 1 and 2 Saturday and Sunday at East Kilbride Rural Museum. So do swing by. It's a woolly weekend, a special sheep weekend I think they're having. Come by and see us there. But I think that's us for this one.
Yes.
Thanks again to Crystalyx and Animax Tracesure. I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are both
Fed by farmers.